Yo, what's up my comic book friends? It's your boy J-Rock. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. So today we got some announcements from Marvel and DC. You want to hear the DC stuff? Go ahead and check out my earlier video. Now today we're going to talk about the Marvel stuff. So I try to break it down into two videos so they don't run too long. Excuse the headgear. I recently moved to Arizona, so it's all hot here, and never thought I'd see the day when it's like 105 degrees right now. When you say, oh, it cooled down, it's 105 degrees. It's fresh, right? Because it's about 117, 120, at least the last month or so. So today's a little fresher, so I decided to record outside. And you gotta get creative with your headgear here to stop the sweating from dripping on your eyes and whatnot. Wear a lot of bucket hats, a lot of baseball caps, a lot of, a lot of different headgear. I know you guys tune in here to hear about the Marvel releases. So I'm not gonna talk about every single book. I'm gonna talk about the ones that caught my attention and the ones I think you guys will be hyped for, that are getting traction and you guys will probably like. First, let me crack my beer open. I'm not an alcoholic. It's just the heat. I have to stay hydrated, guys. Woo! Talk about the first book here. Interesting name, but I get it. They have to be real specific so you know what it is you're getting. It's called New Warriors, Nova, and Night Thrasher, right? Omnibus. So this collects Night Thrasher 1 through 10, and then it says 13 to 21. So I guess 11 and 12 is some type of tie-in. I think it ties in with X-Force, if I'm not mistaken. I can't completely remember. And then Nova 1 through 5 and 8 through 16. So I don't know a lot about Nova, but I do like Night Thrasher. I always thought his costume was dope, and he was like a skater. And then he had like this rage issue, kind of like Wolverine goes Berserker rage. He has something similar going on. And these guys, they were like, how New Mutants are the teen future X-Men? These guys were like future Avengers, right? They're the teenagers that one day will grow up to be Avengers. I always thought they were way cooler than the Avengers. The Avengers were pretty lame, let's be honest. They were whack. The only reason they gained any relevancy is because the movies. They were lame characters, and they got to the point where you had to add Wolverine to the Avengers to get the X-Men fans to read Avengers. You had to add Spider-Man to get the Spider-Man fans to read Avengers. Like, they had to find creative ways to get people to read the Avengers books. Even when, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but hear me out. Even when Marvel was selling out their characters to movie companies, people wanted Daredevil, Punisher, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, Blade. Nobody wanted Iron Man. Nobody wanted Thor. That's the ones Marvel were stuck with. And Hulk he was pretty popular. So as far as Avengers go, that's a book I'm kind of excited for. I didn't think this was gonna come out. Let's see what the price here is. Woo, $150. I don't think I wanna pay $100 for it. Like I said, I gotta be I said in my earlier video, I gotta be a little more picky about what I buy as far as Marvel, especially when they're $150. I really gotta pick and choose. So I'm sticking to my Wolverine and Star Wars, and I'm collecting the Grunwald Captain America. I know they're gonna milk that motherfucker. Every book is gonna be $150. I'm already knowing. But if they stick to the 50% off on release date, I will buy all of them, because then it's like 85. It's more manageable than 100, right? That's my game plan at least right now. Oh, speaking of devil, Grunwald Volume 2. This one is 1 down 288 pages, $150. So yeah, guys, this one, like I said, I'll probably get it depending on if they have that discount or not. I'm kidding, I'll probably get it anyways. We'll see though, we'll see. Still a while from now. As far as the material, I must put a screenshot and put it on the screen so I don't have to be reading every single issue of every book I announce, because then this video will run pretty long. But the Grunwald stuff, at least, I know I read at least 20-30 issues of it, mixed around. I don't know if there's stuff from Volume 1 or Volume 2. But yeah, that stuff is good. The dialogue, it's a bit wordy because it's 80s stuff, so it can be a little outdated, but the stories themselves, the message they're sending, it used to be done real well back then, right? With a little more class as well. Not always. Sometimes it was a little more straightforward. They had the character just saying what you're supposed to think, but the character's thinking it. They did do that, much like cartoons did that back then. But it was in a way where they're just getting you to think, not telling you what to think. Just getting you to think. It's a big difference between the two, right? Solid stuff here. The dialogue, you're gonna have to work with it a little bit because it is a little bit more old school. freaking hot. Like, more importantly, it's real humid. So I'm gonna move to an area right now where they have fans on the top, or where I feel a little fresher, right? I came here because they have shade. Yo, what up? Hopefully you can hear me here. I came where the waterfall at because it's fresher here, but I just noticed it's making quite a bit of noise, so hopefully the audio is good on this. Yeah, man, you couldn't hear that freaking audio for shit. I went back and replayed. I was like, yo, we're gonna have to do this on another spot. The waterfall was way too loud. So yeah, if I had to come here, I go, you know what? I go where there's grass. It seems to be fresher a lot of the time. So I came here, there's a few trees, grass, so it's a little fresher. Got this cup full of ice and my beer here. I didn't want to mix the two because then it waters down the beer. But I will just throw the beer in here inside my ice and so forth, right? It's like my little personal ice bucket here, keep my shit cool. Check out the next book here is X-Men Onslaught Aftermath. Nice. So now we're gonna have the Road to Onslaught. I believe it's gonna be 2 Omnis, and then it's gonna be, that was a killer decision because I heard they were gonna do all 3 of those stick trades and 1 fat Omni, and they broke it down into 2. Now I just hope the price is right? Like if you charge 100 for each one, you're still coming out on top, Marvel. You're still getting $200 instead of 150 or whatever, right? So charge 100, don't make them 125 each, right? Which they probably will do, knowing Disney, right? But anyway, if you ever got to a Disney store, everybody there's always bitching about the prices. Like, man, the Disney store really fucking charges up the prices, right? That's what they do, homie. They are not looking out for you as far as price is concerned. And it's, Marvel can only do so much. It's more Disney than it is Marvel. Anyways, let's talk about the next book here, the Aftermath. You will get the 2 Road to Onslaughts once Volume 2 is announced. Then it would be the Onslaught, then Onslaught Aftermath. So now we just need like the Hunt for Professor Xavier, the Gambit Trial. So man, we're getting all the 90s stuff here, and that's kind of what I'm planning on collecting as far as X-Men. It's probably from the Jim Lee stuff going forward, but then I do want the Mutant Massacre, so I don't know. I just know I can't collect all of them, even though I do have all of them. I can't keep all of them because I'm gonna run out of space. I still want to collect Excalibur, I still want to collect New Mutants and whatnot, right? If X-Force comes out, I'm collecting that motherfucker for sure. Hopefully it includes X-Force and Cable. Next one is Fantastic Four / Doom 2099. So I know a lot of people say that Doom 2099 is a good series and whatnot. It's written by Warren Ellis, and he was at the top of his game in the 90s with Wildstorm and all that stuff. I would not be buying this. I don't really read a lot of Fantastic Four. I like Doom as a character, but it's not that I wouldn't want to read it. It's just, there's only so much money and there's so much. Technically, you could read a lot of this stuff digitally, or even for that, like Marvel Unlimited stuff, like $8 or whatever. We only have so much time on this earth, and I have to use that time on reading the books I really want to read, not on the books I'm like, maybe, those are gonna be way down on the to read list, right? I'm getting to the stuff I want to read first before once I'm a real old man, I could dedicate all day to that shit. But right now I still want to dedicate sometimes to reading, sometimes to other things, right? This next one is interesting. It's Spider-Man by DeMatteis and John Buscema. Love John Buscema's art. DeMatteis is a good writer. He was on Spider-Man for a while too. But I think a lot of people will like this, especially people that don't want to collect every Spider-Man omnibus and they just want to grab their favorite stuff. This will be for a lot of people right here. Much like Phoenix, like I'm saying about X-Men, I can't have every book. So some people maybe don't want every book and they will just get the Phoenix ones, that the storylines they like. So this would be one of those types of books, right? For not your completionist, just your guy that kind of knows what he likes. He's been around the block. He knows what shit he's gonna reread and what shit he will never read again. He just read once to know where the story is going. Cause I know sometimes people like, there was this Cosmic X-Men Omnibus. I'm with you guys. I'm with you. They got announced. Everybody's like, that's some bullshit. Who the fuck's gonna read that? Like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you could have released something else. I'm with you guys. I hear you. I hear you. Not disagreeing. I felt the same way. I'm not gonna buy that shit. But there's people that don't want every X-Men Omnibus. They don't want to read the whole saga of everything, right? So they maybe just want the Starjammer stuff or the Shi'ar Empire, right? They just want like specific characters. They don't have enough crowd to have their own omnibus, so you would get it here, right? So yeah, guys, that's Marvel has that Disney money where they could cover a lot of ground for a lot of different types of collectors. You know what I mean? And this book is not for us completionists that are in the game to have shelf after shelf. This is for the people that have one shelf. We pick about what it is they want. They only want specific things, right? Not for us that are knee deep in shit, right? And now we're like trying to balance our budget. We're like, man, I'm gonna go broke collecting this shit. So I don't need to be buying new shit when I haven't read the hundreds and hundreds of volumes I have now, right? At X Factor by Peter David, Volume 4. Well, I didn't know he was on. He had this much material on X Factor that we had 4 volumes worth. This is not the 90s stuff. Like, if anything, I would have expected he would have 2 or 3 omnibuses of the 90s run, which is the only one I'm really familiar with. But this is from the 2005 series, it says. So I totally know nothing about that series. Let's get on to the next book here. Spider-Man. Yeah! Spider-Man by Michelini, Volume 2. That's the 90s stuff. As far as Spider-Man, my game plan is to buy from the McFarlane, which is the tail end of the 80s, to all through the 90s stuff, right? Probably skip the Clone Saga. But yeah, get all the 90s Spider-Man, and then also the what you might call it, the Superior Spider-Man run, because I hear good things about that one. So that's all I want as far as Spider-Man. Anything else to cut the gaps in between, I will read digitally. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, it's gonna be the Bagley Volume 1, then Spider-Man vs. Venom, which is the Carnage storyline, and then you will read Volume 2. I think that's kind of how it works. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely get those. That's a good era of Spider-Man for me personally. So yeah, that was around the time where I wouldn't say it was my exposure to comics, but it was around the time where I was trying to get an allowance and have my own money, and I could go to a store by myself and stuff like that. So I was around 9-10. So I was going on my bike with the homies, and that was around the Carnage time. I would go buy the Carnage the Spider-Man, Carnage, and all that, those comics. Sometimes, and then now I was reading a lot of Image at that time too, because I definitely knew I was buying more Image than I was DC. So I was Marvel and Image. It was a weird era. Anybody that grew up in that era, it's like we were kids, so there was only so much money, you couldn't buy all 3. So a lot of people were reading Image over DC. You know what I'm saying? So DC had to switch things around and kind of be modern and hip too, right? Because the Image was all these new edgy characters. So DC is like, well, we're gonna do an edgy Batman, right? And we're gonna do an edgy Superman in a blue suit and a Man of Steel and then the Cyborg Superman, because they were like their introduction to new characters, kind of like a reboot, and getting rid of the old characters that are played out and people are tired of, because they had to compete with the Image ones. And Marvel was doing the same. We need Wolverine to be edgy. Motherfucker was already edgy. You didn't need to change him. He already fit the 90s, but they made him a caveman with bone claws, and that shit did not work. Nah, man, nobody liked that. Everybody was like, this motherfucker is lame. I remember that. At least us as kids in elementary, we all talk about the latest drops as far as comic releases, which ones we have read, and nobody was a fan of that Wolverine. Oh yeah. Woo! Wolverine Volume 6. I almost thought that one was not gonna come out. You're right. We all know Wolverine, the whole collection is gonna come out. It's just a matter of time. But it's still nice to see it being announced. So now we have a date. This is gonna cover the stuff after issue 100. So this is we start getting, I think, into the caveman Wolverine, the sucky Wolverine. But as a completionist, I still want to read through that stuff and own it as well. Once I start getting over the hobby, if I ever do, or when I just start reading digitally, the Wolverine set is probably be one that stays. It's probably once I get to a point where I just keep all my top favorites and narrow it down to like one shelf or whatever. That's like no doubt in my mind that one's gonna be one that's in it for the long haul, right? So I'm stoked for that one. I know a lot of Wolverine fans out there. We all love them. So I know everybody's picking this motherfucker up, and I know it's 150 bucks, but yeah, you know, go ahead, still do it. Hopefully we're gonna get that 50% discount from in-stock trades on the first week. So, you know, strike while the iron's hot. Get that shit on week 1 is the way to go. Damn, we have a few more stuff here. There are reprints. I'm not even gonna mention the reprints. Oh, we have Star Wars Rebellion Volume 3. Well, I didn't know there was enough material for Volume 3 on the Rebellion. So I'm gonna get that because I'm gonna collect Star Wars. That's gonna be another one, the Dark Horse Star Wars. It's gonna stay for the long run. But I really like the Dark Horse stuff from Star Wars. So I'm gonna collect them. Star Wars has some interesting stuff, especially in the Empire, because it's all through the point of view of the Empire. So look at the Empire. If you're not familiar with the Dark Horse Star Wars, I'll give you an idea of what the Empire stuff is. It's like the Empire, think of them as your government or your police department or your soldiers, right? So they're the good guys. But to a lot of people, the government, the police, they're the bad guys, right? To a lot of people. So in the Star Wars universe, the Empire are stories told through their point of views. Like, think about it as stories told to the point of view of the president, of the police officer, of whatever. So stories told through Darth Vader's point of view, through the stormtroopers. They're the good guys. The rebels, they're called rebels for a reason. They're fucking criminals, right? Han Solo, he's a freaking Han Solo. He's a pirate. He goes around stealing and being buddy-buddy with a fucking mafia boss in Jabba the Hutt. Which they're not really buddy-buddy, but you know what I mean. He works with them. Jabba the Hutt is also a villain. He's a criminal. So these are pirates. Pirates are not good, right? A space pirate. And the other ones are the rebellion. It's kind of like when you're in a third world country, you know, the Revolucion or the guerrilleros. They're technically, they feel they're fighting for a good reason against their governments, but they're not good people. They do like a lot of bad shit, right? So that's how, when you see these stories to the stormtroopers' point of view and Darth Vader's and them, it's like, look, these guys are doing all this illegal stuff. They're bad too. So it gets real interesting because they're doing bad shit and they feel they're the good guys. And when you look at it through Luke Skywalker and them, they feel they're the good guys, and in the Empire, the oppressor, right? That the government is the bad ones. So I really like what they do with those stories. You just gotta read them. There's and there are a lot of story arcs where you could just read these 10 issues and they don't connect to the rest of. There's not like, sometimes there's not a long overarching story. It's just specific stories to get you to think and open up your mind a little bit and kind of see things through someone else's point of view, right? Nobody's ever 100% right. Nobody's ever 100% wrong. And these Empire books kind of talk about that. These Rebellion books, I'm guessing it's gonna be, I read some of them, but what I remember reading it still was about the Empire. Like, it was still more about the soldiers and stuff than it was about the rebels. It had some stuff about the rebels when with Princess Leia, but yeah, I have to refresh my memory because I haven't read these in a long time. But yeah, that's kind of how I remember going down. But I'm definitely collecting all of them. I have not read all the Dark Horse stuff, so at least one thing I like is that there's gonna be a beginning and an end. My phone is fucking up. It doesn't want to scroll anymore, so it's not showing me the rest of the stuff. Maybe because the signal out here, or I don't know. So yeah, I think we're gonna be done with this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. And you know, I really hope you guys stick around and come back and watch more videos. I try to slightly make them different because we already got people that announce the books and stuff. So I try to add, you know, a little bit of my opinions, a little bit of just little bit like a vlog video as well while I'm talking about them. So yeah, just to make them a little slightly different, you know, add some entertainment value, if you will. So right now, you know what, let's go ahead and give a tour of here. Look at this. This has a double gate because there's a reason. When you come in this one, there's like a safe zone, then you come into this one. So this is like a dog park. You bring your dogs here to run around and play and whatnot. And there's these things everywhere for you could clean up your dog's mess and throw in the trash. And then there's the kids playground. Since I told you there's always like 100 degrees here, so they all have these tents, right? Like, we got all this shade. Basketball court, tennis and all that. Never would I thought I'd be in a freaking area that had a dog park. Come on, like, that shit is crazy.